Salutations, YouTube! Well, this is the second video for the Stealthy Wealth channel. Brand new channel, very excited about it. So, as I mentioned in the last video, if you haven't already seen it, this video is going to be kind of a financial education video, a video about what it takes to gain financial independence. So since I'm new and you guys don't really know me very well, I thought it would make sense for me to give you kind of a little bit of a history on myself so you guys can make a decision, am I worth listening to? You may watch this and decide, well, Mark's full of it, I'm not going to watch. And if that's what you decide, I'm disappointed. I'm sorry to hear that, but I understand. I guess I understand. But hopefully you will listen to what I have to say, listen to what I've gone through, a little bit about what I've gone through in my life, and if some of them are things that you can relate to, then perhaps the things in this channel, the future videos will be informative for you. They'll be positive for you. They'll be impactful for you. So here's a little bit of a history on myself. I grew up in a middle-class household in Ohio. Both of my parents worked for most of my childhood. They instilled a sense of frugality in me. They really had this money doesn't grow on trees type of mentality. And, we were not wealthy by any stretch. Like I said, we were kind of middle class. We lived in a middle class community. Not wealthy, not poor, just kind of comfortably in that middle class. And it was a much bigger middle class back then. I think one of the tragedies nowadays is the middle class is shrinking, and I'm sure we'll get into that in future videos. But anyway, as I grew up, my parents, both of them, instilled a hard work ethic in me. I had 2 jobs, by the time I was 16 and still in high school. I was working, I had a job at a grocery store, and then I worked actually at the school on computers. So I had 2 jobs in addition to going to school. And that helped me save some money for college. I went to college in state, tried to save some money that way, although I did live in the dorms. It's not like I went to a local college. I did travel and have to live in the dorms and do that whole thing, which was a great experience. My parents did help pay for a decent amount, I would say most of my college. But again, just like in high school, when I was in college, I worked all throughout college to help pay for my studies. And by the time I graduated, I did not have any college debt, which of course is key. It's becoming a growing problem, worse and worse every year it seems, the student debt crisis that we're in. That's also something that we will surely talk about in future videos. So I got out of college debt-free, didn't really find a job, that aligned with my education. I got a degree in psychology, but I did get into restaurant management. So I did that for a few years. Didn't like it, kind of hit that ceiling, knew I didn't have much room to grow. So I switched jobs and went into an insurance job, which I thought would give me more potential to grow. It didn't end up being the case. That ended up being a terrible experience for me. I didn't like it, and because I didn't like it, I wasn't very good at it either. So that was not a reliable salary. That was, that was a job where I only got paid based on the work that I was able to complete. And since I wasn't really completing work on a consistent basis because I was struggling with it and wasn't very good at it, I got into financial trouble. So much to the point where I, had to turn off utilities and things like that just to make sure that I didn't, drown in debt. I actually had a house at that time when I was working in the restaurants. As much as I didn't like that, and as much as I didn't think that I had much of a ceiling above me, or I should say I did have a ceiling above me that I had already hit, it was a steady enough income for me to get a house. But once I left that job and went into this insurance job, all of that money dried up, and I started to struggle to pay my mortgage. And like I said, I was shutting off utilities. I was turning my thermostat down to like 50 degrees in the wintertime because I couldn't afford to heat my house. But one thing that I was very passionate about, that I wanted to make sure that I continued to do, was make that mortgage payment. It was the minimum payments, but still I was making that mortgage payment so that I wouldn't lose my house. And trust me, for a little while, I was worried that I might lose my house. And I was making payments, from my credit card and things like that. So I was going into credit card debt. So I was in a pretty bad financial situation. It took me getting another job in addition to my insurance job in retail, of all things, to at least stop the bleeding. I wasn't gaining any traction when I picked up that second job, but at least I stopped the bleeding. So I had 2 jobs for a while. I eventually ended up quitting the insurance job because I actually was offered a management position in the retail job. So those of you who may be stuck in a retail job yourself, there are worse things that you can be in. There's worse situations that you can be in. Retail, you can still become financially independent in a retail job. So we'll get into many videos on that, I'm sure. So I worked my way up the ladder in retail. I got several promotions, and honestly, I'm still there now. But through the series of promotions that I got, I was able to pay off my debt. I was able to pay off my mortgage. I now actually own my house free and clear. And I'm heavily invested in the stock market. I should, in theory, have enough money to retire in 5 years or so. Do I think I actually will stop working, in 5 years? Yeah, probably not. Because believe it or not, even though I am working in a lowly retail job, I actually enjoy the job. So I may continue to do it even after I reach the point of financial independence. And what I'm told, I hope to find this out, but what I'm told is when you get to the point financially where you don't have to work, work that you do becomes much more enjoyable. So that's kind of where I am right now. I'm definitely on the path to financial independence, and it's just continuing to do what I've been doing for the last 3 to 4 years in particular. It's a matter of continuing to do those things, and I should reach complete financial independence within about 4 or 5 years. And obviously, I have gotten into absolutely no detail whatsoever on what I've done to do that. But that's what this channel is going to be about. It's going to be about the things that I've done that have helped me grow my wealth. And one of the things that you will definitely see is that I don't spend much money on wardrobe. Here, you're talking and taking advice from somebody in a wrinkly t-shirt. Get used to it, because that's who I am. That's how I dress. But we're going to go into all kinds of ways where you can live within your means, even if you're working a job like retail, and slowly, steadily gain your wealth. So that's kind of a brief history on me. I hope it helps you kind of formulate an opinion on whether I'm going to be worthy to listen to or not. I feel like I have a lot to share. I'm not a financial advisor, but I think that I've had enough success in my life so far from a financial standpoint that I have some useful information to share, and I hope that you will get some benefit out of it. So if you're interested, please subscribe, please like this video. I really appreciate it. This is a brand new channel. I need to grow. The YouTube algorithm is going to completely ignore me until people start commenting on my videos, giving me a thumbs up, subscribing. I need all of those things from you. So if you could do that, I would appreciate it. So that's it for this video. I look forward to the next time we meet.